Welcome. Today, we sit down with Abhishek Chakraborty, the CEO of DTDC Express Limited, and Pinaki Chatterjee, the CEO of DTDC Australia, to gain insights into the company's vision, challenges, and what's next for the future.
Abhishek, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Being the CEO of DTDC as a global organization now, what's your feeling at this 25 years of international business?
First of all, Pinaki, thank you for having me here. It's quite an emotional moment for us as an organization, because when I look back at the 35-year journey of the company, and within that, the 25-year story of DTDC Worldwide, our international brand, I reflect back on how the origins of all of it started. A small Indian company at that time, a chairman, a visionary, having the guts, the daring to want to go beyond the Indian borders and create a presence for an Indian organization across the world, I think was it's a phenomenal day. Gives me goosebumps even today. And to see that from that small steps that we took, trying to be the organization that Indians could trust, not just in India but across the world, step by step, brick by brick, country, parcel by parcel, building this all out, and then seeing where we are today, gives me extreme sense of hope and excitement what the future holds for us. Because in this 25 years, most people sometimes get surprised when they hear the kind of size that we're doing. And more than $50 million worth of business is now executed in our international business. The fact that nearly 20% of our global total revenues come from our global business, 7 countries that we are present, the number of customers that we're able to touch, and the sheer impact that we're able to create for this Indian and the South Asian community across the world. I think that simply gives me a lot of excitement for what the future holds. So yes, it's a feeling of pride, a great moment that we want to acknowledge, but very future and forward looking in terms of what we're going to build from here, because this is a tremendous base that DTDC has achieved in 25 years in DTDC Worldwide.
Do you think that we have some uniqueness in this journey, that what DTDC has achieved over these years, particularly international business, but I'm trying to focus on the international side of things.
Yeah.
What is the uniqueness that you see in DTDC that has achieved today and that made DTDC a completely different company, completely different aspect from India and outside of India? What do you think that uniqueness DTDC has given us?
I think the most important uniqueness that DTDC has delivered is first recognizing who's our customer, right? When we began our journey, we knew that the Indian diaspora across the world is always a very powerful diaspora. The number of Indians that immigrate and move to different countries and continue to have relationships, both from their personal requirement, was a very clearly identified space. And it was a wide space, and it still, I think, is a large wide space, because while we have very large global players that exist in the international space, but given the nature of their business and the fact that they try to touch every possible country, they don't narrow this interesting white space that exists. And when you look at this white space of Indians, what's so critical and important? Indians and South Asians in that sense are the one community that not only focuses on B2B, not only focuses now, especially in the last 5 years, on B2C, but consistently C2C as well is a very crucial and important angle.
Absolutely.
And that requires a lot of personalization. That requires a lot of understanding of the culture, of the values. And because DTDC, through its own values and being a quintessential Indian company, was able to identify what was that particular need, what was that gap that needed to be addressed. And the fact that we address that gap, that we give that comfort, we give that personalization, we give not only digital solutions, we give the physical connect, across the length and breadth of India as our main country, but also when we touch them in all the countries where we are present in the continents. I think that is our most unique feature. That is what sets us apart.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, is there I think DTDC is the only company in India has got so many offices, so many footprints in other different continents and other different countries in the world. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely, you're right about it. And I'd like to take a couple of minutes here to kind of show you the spectrum that we are covering, right? And I'll cover from the easternmost part of the world, from where you come from, and then go all the way to the west. But just look at what we've achieved, right? in Australia, which is a very, very large continent, having very, very difficult and different kind of logistical capability
Challenges.
requirements, we found a sweet spot where we're able to cater to our customers and multiple logistical needs of those customers. It's not just that we're handling small packages, we're handling express, we're handling logistics, we're handling freight, and we're able to do them because, again, it's a consumption-led market with global import requirements coming in, and we're able to serve them today.
Correct.
And a very digitally led business that we've started over there. Coming a little further on towards the western side, in Singapore, where of course our global headquarters is there, and Malaysia, which is the latest country that we created,
Yes.
we know it's an extremely important transshipment hub. Yes, there is an important consumption happening in Singapore, but through Singapore, the entire Southeast Asian market that can be catered to. And just the sheer volume of trade that happens between Southeast Asian countries, the Indians who either are the business people working in Southeast Asia, the generational Indian origin people who are present in those countries. I think there's tremendous amount of trade that we've been able to create over there, a great identity for us.
The Asian region.
Absolutely,
Right.
Moving further, India of
Yes,
course
exactly.
is an important country, and we serve a lot. But if you think about Middle East, UAE at the heart of the entire GC story that is building out. For a long time, people never felt that there would be anything more to the GCC story other than Indians who emigrate for work over there.
Right.
But now the business growth that's happening, I think in the free trade agreements that have happened in the last 4 to 5 years, the India GCC relationship is the
Much
greatest
stronger.
story. And now that in the GCC area, apart from Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the fact that Saudi Arabia relationship is coming in, which means having that representative market again is giving us a fantastic access to one of the strongest trade partners of India, the Middle Eastern countries, right?
In the GCC area.
Look at UK, where actually we opened up our first office. Today, thanks to our global capabilities, of course, our partnership with GeoPost, our partnership with Aramex, which are partners that we have as a part of our ecosystem, the kind of services that we're able to offer in United Kingdom is fantastic.
Leadership is about vision, impact, and constant evolution. Abhishek Chakraborty's journey at DTDC is a testament to that. We hope you found this conversation inspiring. Thank you for watching.